Hey you guys, so today I'm finally going to be merging Hera and Venus into Odin. So obviously this is a very big milestone for me. Even though merge sylphs have been out for a long time, I've up to this point only merged once, and that was to make Freya, and then I turned Freya into Frigga. And up to this point, Frigga has served me very well, but it's very limited in certain ways, and is not very tanky, whereas Odin is a fantastic sylph for tanking and for just overall survivability. It holds up much better than the other sylphs, and so I'm really looking forward to having this sylph. And then I'm also going to be getting a tier seal back. So there's a spender event where you spend 60,000 balins, which is exactly the price of a merged sylph, and then you get a merged sylph seal back. So I'll get a tier, so that means that I have one of each of the elemental combinations. And so just moving forward, you know, it's been really clear in my other videos that I have really dialed back my monetary investment in Wartune, and so I sort of see this as the last time I'm going to make such a huge investment in Wartune. I will still probably keep up some convenience measures like VIP and Spirit Covenant just to, you know, expedite everything, because I do still keep up my multiplayer dungeons and materials and things like that. But just the really huge purchases have, in general, been you know, a part of my past lately, and I think that having you know, a breadth of elemental, you know, choices, and obviously the skill sets for each of the merge sylphs are very different, and just having more options moving forward, I think will be really nice, and sort of you know, make sure that I can have a round set of options as I play Wartune in the future. So this is definitely something I'm excited for. I want to show all of the stats before they're merged together, and then afterward as well. So that's why I've taken off the gear here and all of that. They're not attached to my player or anything, so hopefully I can merge right away. Usually when I do something like this, they're always part of a party or something, so I hope I cleared everything up beforehand. But so here we are. Nutella's base, or Nutella or Hera, the base BR is 212k, and of course Venus is something very similar. They've always been sort of a pair, as you know, similar in BR with different elements and different stats. So attribute wise, so Venus, obviously main one is magical attack, and Hera is the corresponding physical attack. And so I think that's about it. So we can have a little their resistances, these should go up as I get a merged sylph, but they're quite nice compared to something like do I even have one? Yeah, so it's much lower in these versions. But alright, so let's go ahead and get merging, and then after the merge I'll show all of the spender event rewards, and that's a huge part of the reason why I'm doing it right now, and why I'm using real balins. So I think for some players, they're like, well, I just want to use my bound balins on a merge, and for me, I actually am intentionally using real balins for this. You know, in order to get a lot of bound balins these days, you have to recharge balins, real balins anyway, and so you know, my history over caching with Wartune is when I spend real balins, I try to spend them on things I really want at a very specific time in order to get a lot of rewards back from big spender events. And so I time them relatively carefully, hopefully with coupons, but that doesn't, you know, jive with the merge sylphs. And so I think here's an opportunity to get a lot of rewards back from the hot events, and so I'm going to go ahead and use the real balins for this. So here we are, Sun Cores and Sun Blast, you need 1,000 of each, and so previously I had, you know, made sure I had the balins to do this, and then I realized that I was 20 Sun Cores and Sun Blast, or Blast of Sun, short of what I needed here, and so I had to wait, and so I've been waiting for a set of events to line up the way that I wanted. Again, because I missed my last opportunity, and then for the light and dark emblems, I need 750 of those. So we're looking to grow quite a bit. Oh, why does this have? Oh, it shows my current sylph. I was wondering why there was sylph gear there, but that's for my Frigga, not for one of these guys. So here we go. need full aptitude, so 1 out of 1 shows that everything is good to go. It'd be really weird if that hadn't happened by now. So we'll go ahead and merge. It does automatically say, you know, choose to use bound Balins, but since I want to use real Balins to make sure that I get those hot event rewards, I'm gonna uncheck that, go ahead and confirm, and here we go, my second ever merge sylph, and we have Odin. So we'll go ahead, check out stats for Odin, where we go, probably at the end of the list. Alright, so we'll get to the skills, but the skill set for the beginning skill set for Odin is absolute trash. I think it's actually the worst out of the merge sylphs as far as, you know, beginning skills. There's probably only one here that I actually want. Maybe two. Maybe I want to keep this. I'm not even totally sure about that. But here we are, so plenty of space for more advanced sepulchrum, which seems really weird. Is that right? Upgrade, enchant. Huh. So I thought with a red Odin I wouldn't have any space to use sepulchrum, but apparently, because I thought that if you merge two fully enchanted or red sylphs into a red Odin, you wouldn't have more sepulchrum space, but apparently you do. So that actually is a surprise to me. I don't know how I went this entire time and did not know that. So let me just use one of these, because now I'm sort of curious. So wow, really? No, you have to enchant this more. Okay, that was a surprise to me. But anyway, so we went from my attributes before. The attack stats were, you know, somewhere around 55,000, and now it's like 67,000. So actually, you know, it's definitely not double, though the magic attack here is quite high. So I'm wondering why the physical attack is so much higher than magical attack. You know, if you look at some of Odin's stats, let's see here. Attack type is a mix of P damage and M damage. Once awakened, its attack type changes to a mix of light and dark damage. So it is a combination of your two attack stats, so I think no matter what, you know, having divinity souls for both of those types of attacks is probably a good idea, and same for gear refinements and all of that. As far as attributes go, do we not assign points anymore? There's definitely a patch that happened with sylphs that changed, because yeah, so you don't assign points to the sylph anymore. So they do that all automatically, I guess. Okay, I didn't look. There's a patch notes that I missed, clearly. So I think what it does is it automatically puts it into strength for you. That's definitely the case, just because out of these stats here, that's the only one that's been improved. So clearly that's what the game thinks is best for your sylph, and so of course we're just going to let it do that. Not that I have an option anymore. Alright, well clearly I've been paying a lot of attention. So here I have a red set of gear that I'm going to use for Odin. The divinity souls here are probably not how I want them to be. I'll probably take out some of my PDEF and MDEF ones and put in magical attack, and I think that will help a little bit. But at least for now, I think it's fine, or it's not a big deal. My best set of gear is currently on my Frigga with my really nice divinity souls, but I'm not going to bother to take the time to switch those over. But let's go ahead and call Odin, and wow, up to 433k BR. And that's not with my best set of gear. Well, actually, okay, we can actually switch over. Let's just see the BR with the best set of gear, just so we know what the numbers can potentially look like. So I changed my mind. Alright, here we go. So we'll put in this other set of red gear, and we'll have an idea of what Odin's max BR can be like. So up to 451,000 BR. So nothing too crazy compared to some of the Odins. You know, if you look into the crossover rankings for sylphs, you're going to see that the BRs are upwards of 500,000 for some of the top sylphs, because they have these huge divinity souls and other things. So anyway, so Odin's up to 451k. I can check out what my top BR is with both of my merge sylphs, and my battle oracle is still my highest BR kid. So we have 385,000 BR, and so that actually isn't as high as my BR can go. Currently my dimensions are really crappy, so I'm gonna have them better for this week, but it was Steel Wars week this past week, so I usually take a break from them then, so this will look much higher, but even so my BR is looking much better with 2 merge sylphs. That makes a huge difference. The difference in BR is, you know, a couple 100,000 at least, so that's very nice. Alright, well, we can take a little look around on Odin. You know, I think the merge sylphs are relatively familiar to people since the content has been out so long now. But there he is, and so, again, the skill's not going to be that great right now, so I'm not going to bother, you know, showing off anything there. As far as changing the skills, what I can do here, I should definitely do this once, is that I will forget some of the skills and spend bound balance on that, but I think for adding skills on, I'm only going to use free ones, and so previously with Frigga I spent quite a few bound balance buying the skills as well, to you know, not bother with the cooldown, but here I think I'm going to be a little bit more patient, so I'm going to get rid of, well, all of these really suck, these 3, so for sure I want to address the active skills first. So, for sure I don't want this one that costs a ton of awakening points. So I think we're going to spend 300 bound balance to get rid of that, and then learn a free one. And so here I got a Delphic, which is pretty nice, so that's a good option. And this Delphic isn't the most powerful, actually it's the weakest of the Delphics as far as damage output goes, but as far as just how useful it is, it's definitely up there. So this deals an AoE, and it takes in 100% of HP gain for each target that you hit. And so pretty much if you have a lot of opponents and you use this skill, you easily can go back to full HP. So that's another reason why Odin is such a great survival sylph for the individual player. I think for your whole team, obviously Frigga is better. You can shield the whole team, you can heal the whole team, but as far as helping yourself, Odin is still very good. So between Devour Soul and this Light of Inspiration, you get a lot of heals back to your own player. So the learn for free is after 4 hours, so they changed the cooldown for this and actually decreased it by half, so that's quite nice. So every so often I can get rid of some of these skills and add in some for free. I'm going to take care of the active skills first, so I'll definitely get rid of Haunt and Heavenly Body first, and try and get some better active skills, you know, things that deal damage for sure, into these slots. As far as which skills that I want, I'm not totally sure what's the best way to go about this, because with Odin you can sort of have either a big time AoEs, so like a lot of area damage, so a sylph for that, and then you can also have an option that's more like, you know, single target damage. So you know, I think I'm going to lean towards having AoEs. It's a little bit hard because there are 3 Delphics that you want. The one that I just got is very nice in many different situations. At the same time, the single target Delphic, this Apocalypse Judgment, is a really huge, you know, 400% damage to a single target, and it targets their worst defense and their worst element, so you know, whichever one of their resistances is lowest is the one that it's going to be targeting. So it deals a ton of damage, and so that you sort of want, but it's really sad not to have Endless Engulf. Endless Engulf is a skill that we're familiar with from Hera and Hades and you know, all of the dark sylphs up to this point, and it is a really great AoE Delphic, and so it's a little bit hard to give up that skill. I still sort of want it, so I'm not totally sure. You know, I'll basically just go with whatever I get for now. Obviously I'm going to be doing this as cheaply as I possibly can, and so, you know, whichever one of these skills, as long as it's relatively useful, I'm going to take it. But then as far as the passives go, I definitely want this Agoran Shield that decreases any type of damage that you take by 20%. That is a big yes. And then after that, you know, have some options. Mass Assault makes it so that you deal a lot more damage to all of the non-light and dark element sylphs. But as far as, again, tankiness, which is a real specialty of Odin's, I think Power of Darkness, which decreases damage received by all of the elements by 10%, and then by 20% against light sylphs, and then the Power of Light is the sort of complement to that, where it decreases damage against dark sylphs, and all of those things stack and make you very, very tanky when you have Odin on. And so I'm thinking that I want these two guys and to have the Agoran Shield, and I think if I have all of those, it's a very, very nice option for Odin. So again, you know, I think right now I'm just going to take whatever I want, but maybe if I get impatient in the future, I'll go after a very specific set of skills. So we'll see there, but otherwise that's about it for Odin, and we can go ahead and look at the rewards and see my new tier sylph. So here in the summer kickoff, the consumer event, it's, you know, spend 60,000 Balins to get either a tier seal back or a Freya seal. Some chests, the banana chests are from the previous set of events, so once I get these, I do have to open them or else they're completely useless. There's no exchange for these anymore. But so that's the only disadvantage to waiting to do this event. But the other spenders are much better and are relevant to the hot events that we have right now. And then if you spend 120,000 Balins, you can get a Frigga seal or a Thor seal, which I really don't think is worth it. For one thing, I don't know what you're going to spend 120,000 Balins on at one moment where it's like a good deal. I guess you can merge two sylphs and you can get like one of each of the, like pick from one of each of these. It seems really, really excessive to me, and like an extraordinarily bad idea. But you know, for sure some people are gonna do it. It definitely, I guess, in certain ways, as far as the chests go, might be a better idea, because you spend 60,000 Balins on top of this one, and you're going to be getting 40,000 bound Balins back, and these, you know, twice as many chests back and stuff. So I guess conceptually it is a good deal, but just as far as being able to spend that many Balins in a given amount of time, I'm not sure what you're going to spend them on where it's a good idea. So that's all I have to say about that. But yeah, so anyway, here I have the option between Tyr and Freya, and I'm gonna go ahead and get Tyr. I did actually, for a moment, when I was getting myself into this, you know, saying, okay, today's the day, I thought, you know, as far as strategy goes, it might actually be better to just go with Freya, because having two wind and water sylphs in Class Wars is very helpful. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be using this tier that much. You know, even once I get it up to Thor, which I will do, I'll be working on that for quite some time. So even once, you know, Thor is in the picture and all of that, I'm not sure, you know, how much I'm going to use it, but at the same time, I really just want one of each, and so having that diversity in my sylphs is appealing to me, so I'm going to go ahead and do this, because this is definitely not an investment I'm going to be doing again anytime soon. So might as well get one of each. I can just use another, you know, use a wind sylph along with my Frigga for Class Wars. That's totally fine, and so here we go. I also get 20,000 bound Balins back, which is very nice. Now, obviously, I wouldn't be getting any of this back if I had used bound Balins. The advantage to merging a sylph with bound Balins is that you have real, like, for players, you know, who are recharging for those bound Balins, then you can use your real balance on things like mounts and all of those things that a lot of cashers like. For me, I'm very happy to be getting a lot of rewards back for spending, and so I'm gonna go ahead with this method, obviously. So here we have an epic spender. This one is for a week-long spender. It goes up to, oh, I'm actually getting all the rewards for it. So it's a week-long spender only up to 50,000 balins. Before I thought these went up to, you know, like 80,000 balins. So I thought there was going to be one that I wasn't getting. But here I am, so I'm going to very carefully make sure that I'm going for the ones that give resistance, or these will crystals, not resistance crystals. Oh wait, no, it gives resistance crystals as well. So this one, I don't know why anybody's picking this. It gives like kids stuff, like things for your kids, kid diamonds, all of that. I just, any player, even if you need these things, I don't know why you would ever in a million years pick this one. So for sure going to pick this pack. It's not always, oh, that took forever. What's going on? See here, it's pack A again. It's getting a lot of stuff, and then I'm going to be getting some of these grape chests, which aren't that useful yet. I'm hoping there's going to be an exchange coming up in a couple of days for mount whips, and if that happens, I'll be very happy. If not, I'll be a little bit disappointed, but it's not the end of the world. But obviously, exchanges for mount whips are the most ideal right now, unless they, you know, answer my calls for tenacity marks. Did I do that? Okay, we're good. I remember the last time when I made Frigga, I screwed up and I collected one of the wrong packs, or one of the packs that I didn't want, so I'm doing this very carefully this time around. And here we are, I get a level 9 will crystal from this, so I'm very happy about that. And a lot of chests, so hopefully I can exchange for something good with these. So here we have a big spender. Oh, well, I thought there was another one on the first. Okay, so we covered these two, so that's 1, 2 spenders, and we have a big spender here and another consumption. So here we are with the big spender. This one is pretty straightforward, no options. A little bit of lag with this, I'm not totally sure. I'm not lagging in other parts of the game, not really struggling there. But when I try to collect these items, it is, so don't know what's going on here. I get some clothing chests, which clothing is not that interesting to me, but I guess I can go after this clothing set. It'll give me a title. Well, maybe. I don't even know if I'm going to have enough to exchange for that whole set, so I might just open them. Oh, I'm going to get more of those clothing chests here. Okay, so this one goes up to 50,000 balin, oh, 30,000 balin. So these two are actually much smaller. So this was a 3-day spender event, and the other one was a 1-day spender event. So again, gonna go after resistance crystals. This was similar to the other one that had these crystals in them. But again, I don't even know why these are options. I don't know who on earth thought, you know, like who's behind the scenes thinking, oh yeah, somebody wants to get the kid stuff option. It just seems like a totally terrible idea. Will crystals are incredibly important in the game and very difficult to build up as you get higher level will crystals. So my will crystals are all, well, do I have all 11s now? No, I think I have 11, 11, 10. And it's just incredibly hard if you're not cashing them up to get a lot of these will crystals. You know, you can do dimensions all day, and it's a very slow process to improve them. So this one I'm going to get a level 8 will crystal as a top prize. And there we are. So those, I think, are all the spender events. So here we are. These are all exchanges. This exchange, you know, obviously those will crystals can be a little bit tempting, and I will get them if I see that the next set of exchanges doesn't have anything appealing to me, but I'm crossing my fingers that the next exchange has mount whips in it, or something very appealing. If not, I'm probably going to go after these will crystals. So that's the plan at the moment. It's not the worst exchange, it's definitely not the best exchange. And then everything else, I think there's no other rewards I get here. But even so, that was a very nice haul, and of course the biggest thing is getting this tier seal. So I'm going to go ahead, open that up, And so for Tyre, you know, this is a combination between Cerberus and Hercules, and so you cannot make a red Tyre yet, and so I have to. Well, actually, wait, is that right? Yeah, I don't think that I can upgrade him. Can I use? You know, he's maxed out. I'm losing my mind right now. But so I need to enchant him a lot, so that's going to cost me a whole lot of advanced sepulchrum. Luckily, I have an enormous amount of advanced sepulchrum just over the ages. The events have always been very good for advanced sepulchrum. I get a lot of that back. So right now, I'm just going to slow go it, do 3,000 each day of an advanced sepulchrum event until this is maxed out, and then eventually I'll do a video turning Tyre into Thor. But right now, he's not, you know, much of a sylph. We can go ahead and look at him. So where are we? So there's Tyre. I think he's definitely the cutest as far as following goes. You have this little bull following you around, fire bull, I don't know. He has horns, or he has tusks. I'm not totally sure what Tyre is in little form, but he's very, very cute, in my opinion. So that's very, very nice, and that means that, again, I have a whole assortment of sylphs that I can choose from now that are very, very strong. Actually, Tyre really sucks at the moment because he doesn't have any sepulchrum in him, but just as far as the future goes, this is going to be a very big sylph. And so as far as skills go for Tyre, I have a very specific setup in mind. So for Tyre and Thor, eventually, I very specifically want an M damage, you know, a magical attack setup. So for Tyre and Thor, you know, the skills are very specific in what type of damage you deal. So you're either going to be attacking with M damage or you're going to be attacking with P damage, but you're not going to be attacking with both, sort of like Odin. And with Frigga, you're only dealing M damage. So each of these merged sylphs behaves a little bit differently. So for Tyre and Thor, I'm going to go with 4 of the M damage skills plus Infernal Inflammation, which I already have. Infernal Inflammation has a very low cooldown. It's 8 seconds. So does Jupiter's Wrath, which is another one I want. But Infernal Inflammation will also increase the amount of damage that your opponent takes by 10% for 3 rounds, which is a big deal. And then I also want everything to sort of revolve around Shock Chain. So Shock Chain reduces your targets, or actually the whole party of your opponents, by 25%. So that you decrease their MDef, you increase the amount of damage that they take, and then deal a whole lot of M damage. So that's going to be really, really beneficial. So we have the 2 biggest Delphics, Delphic Thunderwave, which I already have out of this, and then that deals 470% M damage, very, very big. But then we have Roaring Lion, which is enormous and deals 570% M damage, and it increases the damage you receive. So this is the ideal setup for this would probably be dealing this Delphic and then casting a Guardian Rune. And casting that Guardian Rune, it will use a turn very quickly, and also help defend against this negative buff that you're putting debuff that you're putting on yourself. But even so, I'll take that damage, and it's a really huge Delphic. I think it's the biggest attack in the game, since you know, even though there are some knighthood skills that list huger amounts of damage, you know, once you're in sylph mode, there are so many other factors that go into your damage. Elemental stuff, the resistances pack more punch, and your reduced res is a very, very big deal. So you know, to me, even though the numbers might not seem the same, or might seem weaker than some of the big knighthood skills, for sure this is the biggest single target attack in the game. So definitely going to be going after Roaring Lion, Thunder Wave, Jupiter's Wrath, which is just useful. It's got a nice low cooldown, and hey, I'm voicing over for a moment because I thought in the video that Tyre's Jupiter's Wrath didn't priority player attack and Hercules did, but I was wrong about that. But Tyre's does deal more damage than the one that Herc has. So the skills seem a little bit different for Tyre and Thor than Hercules and Cerberus. You know, Infernal Inflammation looks relatively the same. Maybe the numbers are a little bit different. Can check that. So Infernal Inflammation for Tyr and Thor definitely deals more. Shock Chain only decreases MDef by 25%, whereas Hercules, it decreases the MDef by 30%. So I'm not sure why they make it worse for Tyr and Thor. And what was the other one that I thought was really weird? I was just looking at this. Yeah, I don't know why anybody would want this Deadly Kiss. It reduces the target's speed, but it's definitely the weakest of the Delphics. And this one also is P damage, which doesn't get any benefit from this, or extra benefit from Shock Chain. But there was something weird here. Well, whatever it is, I think that the skills here for Tyr and Thor are just a bit of an adjustment. So they mostly behave the same way that Hercules and Cerberus do, but just a tad different. Anyway, and then for passives, we have, I'm not that familiar with the Tyr and Thor passives. So here we have a chance to deal 50% damage to an extra target when attacking. So we get a little bit of splash damage, which is probably helpful. You probably want that. And this increases damage dealt by 5%, can stack up to 20 times, can be dispelled. So the can be dispelled part is a little bit disappointing, but even so, you definitely want this. And any other special passives? So you have those two, and oh, okay. Okay, splash damage. Here, this is definitely not appealing. This is just awakening points. And then unstable voltage, we probably still want that. Chance to increase crit rate, prevent a crit, chance to deal 5% damage next round. So to me, for sure, we're gonna go with unstable voltage, molten might, which will both increase the damage that you deal, and probably this splash damage, because 50% damage to an extra target when you're dealing a lot of damage to whatever your main target is, it sounds pretty nice. So so those are probably the three passives. So yeah, so definitely the Tyr and Thor setup seems more obvious to me than the one that I need for Odin. Oh, Odin is on this page too. So yeah, so the Odin skills just aren't as obvious to me, how to set up, which really just means that Odin has better options overall, or at least better ways to set up the build differently. I think that a physical damage setup for Tyr is definitely inferior to a magical damage setup. So that's how it goes, but I think that's about it. So again, much higher BR now that I have two very big merge sylphs. I am a little bit surprised that I can put more Advanced Sepulchrum into Odin at the moment, and so I actually need to work on this and cap out Odin before I start working on Tyr here. But anyway, I think I'll stop it there since this is a pretty long video. I'm very glad that I have all of the merge sylphs now, or at least all of the elemental combinations now, and so I'm very glad to be sharing this little milestone with you guys. This has been a long time coming, and so I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for all your patience as I waited for a good opportunity to do this, and so thanks for watching. Take care and have a very good day.